Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the TST Bootcamp. This is just a short video to give you a very quick rundown of what you're going to be doing in the next couple of weeks and what resources the program provides you to build your startup. So as you know, TST is a platform for professional services startups. So, अगर आप कोई ऐसी कंपनी बनाना चाहते हैं जो सर्विसेज में काम करती है तो TST aims to provide you the resources to build that. Um, if you don't have access already, I would urge you to reach out to your point of contact and get access to OneNote and specifically this notebook. You'll receive a URL. उस URL पे जाके आप क्लिक करेंगे तो वो आपको ब्राउज़र में ये फाइल दिखा देगा और ब्राउज़र में टॉप राइट साइड पे एक एडिटिंग की टैब आ रही होगी, वहाँ से आप उसको ओपन इन OneNote डेस्कटॉप कर लें. That is the easiest experience you will get in terms of browsing, searching, and editing this content. So you should be able to see this branch when you've logged in, the bootcamp branch, this notebook. This first section is just walks you through the program and the selection criterion. If you've already joined the program, you should have already gone through some of these questions. You should also go through these just to make sure that you have asked yourself the right questions in building your startup. So the questionnaires explore broadly your personal background, your expertise, your idea and what that is about, your business model and how you plan to monetize some of what you do. If you have a sales and marketing plan, that's also discussed here. If you already are if you already have customers, what kind of traction are you getting? There's some sample responses in here just to give you a feel of what kind of responses we expect from you. Some analysis of your competition, what your team is like. Um, these videos will give you some idea of what services you have available. I encourage you to go through these, and if you need any funding, what are the details around that? So these questionnaires help us select you. If you're watching this video, you most probably have already been selected. So you've kind of gone through this phase. Um, the incubation program itself, I think broadly speaking, your journey, we hope to take you from being a one-man shop or an employee to a one-man shop to a 10-person company and then to a 50-person company. At each stage, you have a slightly different problem set, and depending on what kind of company you are, the sort of help that will be available will also be slightly different. For companies that have just gotten going, so pre-revenue, roughly this is the sort of workflow that you should be expecting to go through. We'll go through the major headings here on the left. I think one of the things you want to be looking at is what your product market fit is like, or your service market fit is like if you're a services company. So the first question is, what is it that you do? Are you a coder? Are you a developer? Are you a manager? Are you an architect? Um, are you an e-commerce expert? Are you what are you and how do you like to define yourself? So what are the services you can provide? And which of these services do you want to pick for your startup? And then the next question is like, who do you sell this service to? Which market, which country, which size of company, and who do you sell it to specifically? Do you want to sell it to a CIO or the purchasing manager? Who your target ICP, etc. is? This is a really important part of your startup life cycle. Is you need to understand कि कंपनी और उसकी मार्केट जो है उसके दरमियान अगर रीजनेबल फिट नहीं मिलता तो बेसिकली इसके बाद कुछ भी करने का कोई फ़ायदा नहीं. So we'll walk you through some of the processes involved in choosing and enabling this product market fit. Part of this is some sort of a marketing assessment when you're hypothesizing that there's a certain market that you want to access. You develop a very quick and dirty marketing plan to verify whether your assumptions are correct. We'll also go through sales plans and some plan for building your team on the HR side. Um, and then if all of this is done and ready, and you have some capital requirements, you'll be going through a financial planning exercise as well, and we'll just go through that in a little bit more detail just now. When all of this is said and done, then if you need capital, then you will be asked to prepare a pitch deck, which you can then take to investors for funding to execute your idea. Roughly, this is how it flows. You go through some assessments. These involve the program evaluation we just looked at, um, evaluation around your specific business plan, and then also a psych assessment that walks through some of your psychological hangups potentially. If your ability to handle stress and be resilient and um, robust with because the journey of entrepreneurship is difficult and many times stressful for people, and if you don't have the right aptitude, then you can really struggle through that process. There's a lot of failure and you have to be very resilient about it. In the first week, we'll give you some basic orientation. You get an opportunity to meet the team, ask questions, review the contracts for TST, and at the end of the week, we expect those to be signed up, and we begin to execute. In the next 2 or 3 weeks, you will go through instructed lectures, workshops, um, team exercises where you will be walked through some of the theory of building a company. Now, this, as I mentioned, involves understanding your product market fit, your funding and finance, sales and marketing plans, how to build a team, and the legal aspects of building a team. In the third week, you get a chance to choose your mentors. So you'll be given access to a lot of people who can potentially be mentors through your journey. Um, and you get to pick specific people who you feel are going to add most value to your startup. You will have a general advisor available throughout the journey in weeks 5 through 20. This is somebody who can just help you answer some of the basic questions you may have. Um, but these are general questions. So if you have a specific question around, let's say, sales or marketing, then you can access a specialist advisor who has a lot more experience and depth in that particular area. These are limited hours. For the general advisory, you have access to them 1 to 2 hours a week. At the end of week 4, when you've chosen your mentors, you get executing. You finalize your notebooks. I'll just show you a notebook in a minute. Um, and that completes your theory. Your notebook and your pitch deck constitute the completion of the theory of it. So now you have a plan, and now you need to get going on executing that plan. And so weeks 5 through 20, you're basically implementing, iterating, trying out your various product market fits, your marketing strategies, etc., while you're being helped by the advisors and the resources through the journey. This link has more detail specifically on the content and the lectures that you can expect to go through in the first 2 weeks of the bootcamp. I won't go into details of it. As you join the program, you'll get to see all of these. When you're done, make sure you've reviewed the checklist and you have everything checked off and you're good to go. Uh, there's a bunch of knowledge bases notebooks similar to these, covering all sorts of topics around uh, fundraising, capital, sales, marketing, governance, team building. Um, these are quite detailed, so if you ever are in that mood where you just want to dive into a subject, there are resources available. This particular program, the bootcamp, just works very shallow across these subjects. This next section contains the core content of the bootcamp trainings for the first 2 weeks. So the product market fit, you will find the content here. You can browse these at your own pace. Some of these will also be covered in person while you're training. So you have product market fit, sales and marketing, team building, money matters, legal. At the end of all of this, the cohort instructor aims to execute a demo day, which is where everybody gets 5 or 10 minutes to present their idea, their pitch deck to potential investors and partners. So you can see samples of this here from not just Allied, but some of the best companies in the world like Techstars and Y Combinator and such. If you want to get a feel of where all of this culminates, just have a look at these. I think it's very useful. Breadcrumbs, this section walks through some of the experiences of hands-on experiences of those before you. So this section was created after interviewing about 50 people who had gone through the journey, and they were sharing some of the experiences they had at every stage of their growth. So from tier 1 to tier 2 means when they were an employee and then chose to get into the entrepreneurship game. What did they learn? What were the key things that helped them transition from one to the other? What did their timeline look like? What was their focus in terms of uh, the time allocation? And what piece of the overall revenue pie of the company were they actually involved in? And then when they went from being a 1% company to a 10% company, what were the kind of key things that they learned? You'll find a bunch of those little nuggets of wisdom. I think you'll find these very useful to go through these. And then again, from that step onwards, you can see at every stage there are some bits of guidance that are available to you. So these are definitely worth skimming. FAQs have your basic questions. As you go through the curriculum, you will be asked to create a notebook that reflects all of what you are learning. So make sure that everything you learn, every form you fill, every experiment you do, every bit of notes you take is somewhere in your respective notebook. Like this is just a sample where everything from their initial assessments to their sales and marketing plans to their financial models, they're being tracked here. And by the end of all of this, you should have a pitch deck here that you can start presenting to investors. So this is just a quick intro. Best of luck to you on your journey for the next few weeks. And we look forward to seeing you on the other side with a successful revenue generating business.